Hey everybody, and welcome back to Mainstream Monday here on Horror Film Lovers. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody. I'm here with
John Ward.
John Ward, my co-host. How you doing, John?
Yes, I'm doing good. How are you?
I was practicing this earlier, and I ended up calling you Johnny Ward,
I've
and
been
I
called
was
Johnny.
like,
A lot of people call me Johnny. I'm
for
fine with
real?
that.
Because like some people have called me Johnny, and then other people have looked at that person and go, no, don't call him Johnny.
I guess it depends. I mean, I've been John, John E. I've been people have called me by my middle names. Donny Osmond used to come into my work all the time and call me Johnny. So I don't care.
Nice, Johnny and
He's
Donnie.
Donnie and I'm
You could have
Johnny.
made a
Yeah.
TV show, Johnny and
Yeah.
Donnie.
Oh well, his name has to come first.
Well,
So
Donnie and Johnny, but it
yeah.
doesn't sound as good, honestly. Like you can
But
talk to him about
alphabetically
that.
it works.
Alphabetically, it works, but if you listen to it, Donnie and Johnny and Donnie, which one sounds better?
Well, we start the show as Donnie and Johnny, and then as my popularity grows, they then flip it to Johnny and Donnie.
But your face has to come first while it says Donnie, so it confuses everybody. They think you're Donnie.
That I'm Donnie. Yeah.
All right, just the lawyers and everybody can be happy. But
Agents and managers and all that.
look,
Yeah. But
would
hey,
you
you
like a
can
free
call me
hug?
anything you want. I don't care. I would love a free hug. I love your shirt. You know, I love Chucky.
I know. I saw this at I found this at Big Lots. So if you're at Big Lots, they had large, extra large,
Oh,
2XL large, all this stuff. So they
oh,
had a lot of
maybe I'll
that
have to
stuff.
stop by.
Yeah,
One is
so
on my way to work and from
yeah.
my way to work. Same one. So yeah, maybe I'll have to stop off
They
and see.
all they also had chew toys for dogs that were the horror people. So they had Jason, Freddy, and Chucky. Chucky
Oh,
was
that's
more
funny.
expensive, but I think it was because he was holding a knife, and the other ones were just like this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so but
Maybe.
I was almost gonna buy one because the Freddy Krueger and Jason one were only $5. Um, and I was like, oh, this is cute, I want it, but then I was like, nope, the dogs are gonna eat it. So I have to wait till the dogs go home to my sister's. Because I don't think he'd care, my little one would care, but the big dogs would care.
I just have to hide it. So,
Yeah.
but
All right.
I'll pick up a lot of stuff with
There's
Chucky
no
on it. So,
Jigsaw stuff as much, man. Like, where's the love of Jigsaw? Like
oh, really, Mr. Man? Your love for Jigsaw? I think I'm going to read this right now, Mr. Love for
I know I
Jigsaw.
said where is the love for Jigsaw? I didn't say my love for Jigsaw.
Apparently not from you.
Yeah.
This is something that I thought that people out there might want to hear from Mr. Jonathan A. Moody on Facebook from September 23rd. And I thought that this was very interesting since we're on the last Saw movie of this cycle. Then it goes
Right.
into Jigsaw Spiral and all that. So it
But
says
this was
here,
before, I believe this was before we recorded the sixth Saw 6, I
it
think.
doesn't
Or is
matter
that?
because the internet always remembers.
Okay,
So
okay.
hot hot horror take I know dot am more than halfway watching all the Saw movies, and honestly it's kind of one of my least favorite. Really?
Okay.
I mean, some of the movies are fun and there's a lot that goes on to it. Each movie feels like there's new reveal that explains more, but IDK, I don't care, just kind of makes me feel by the end of each movie. I'm going to be finishing it up by November.
Mhm.
I just don't see anything changing in my mind. LOL, laughing emoji.
Right.
All right, sir, please explain yourself.
I
As
mean,
you,
I think that was self-explanatory. I'm not a huge.
I,
This isn't my favorite franchise of all the franchises. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's okay if you love it. My friend Nicole loves it. Other people love it. I'm okay with that. I think I even say in the comments, to people that like, I get people's love for it. It's just not for me. Like, this isn't something I'm gonna watch over and over again.
so later on, when you finally make it big, and they're like, Mr. Moody, we decided for you to direct Saw 20, and then I send them this, and they go, oh no, oh no, no, no. because you have betrayed Saw.
I'm not
You have
gonna direct
betrayed
Saw 20.
you.
Like, no, I mean, not even if they asked, I would say, please give it to somebody else. I honestly
I would
would.
hope you'd say, please give it to John Ward,
I would
but
say
that's
give it to
okay.
John Ward. I would say
Now
that.
that I've put it
Like,
out
I
there,
would do that because, not because, like, and you can keep this, like, saved as, like, proof.
I'm
Like,
not.
if I ever get, if they're ever, like, direct Saw 20, and then he was like, but he said, let me direct it. He said, let me direct it, like, I would be okay with that because it is not my favorite. And I would fuck this saga up because I do not like torture, right? Like I don't like movies where people are tortured. I just don't. I find it to be
But yet
and
you watch Hallmark movies.
well, that's torturing me, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. Or if somebody else watches it, that's all on them. I'm not tying somebody up and making them watch Hallmark movies. They want to watch it. Great. If they don't
As
want to
far as
watch
we
it,
know.
that's, no, yeah, as far as you know. But I'm pretty sure you would know if I were to do something that fucked up. But I'm not like that. Like I don't mind like this ad like was it the last one was one of my favorites, of
Part
the stuff,
six,
part
yeah.
6, and then this one was a pretty damn good one. I was actually pleasantly surprised with this one. I liked it. But it just because I like these things doesn't mean like this is like something I'm in love with or anything. Like I'm not they're not my favorite of the franchises, and that's
Uh-huh.
okay. Like I love Insidious, so I still love, like there's not and I love where it came from. Like I love the first movie. I think the first movie was great, you know, because that was like independent and had like a lot of heart and it was like two guys going out and making a movie that you know that they really did a really good job with. I honestly think that a
Oh,
change
you mean the same creators as Saw?
I was saying that's what I'm saying. The Saw movie was great. The first Saw
Uh-huh.
movie was
I thought
fantastic.
you were talking about
No,
Insidious.
no, I was talking about Insidious at first, but then I changed back to
You
Saw.
you you might want to let
Clarify
people
that.
know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I really like the first Saw movie a lot. I think it's really great. But it didn't make me want to watch more, because I was like, okay, I feel like that's it. That's all I need. And then you see more and more, you get more revealed, like you feel like this guy has more people in his life to fuck up their lives or whatever. There's more people, you see John in this movie for like 5 seconds. It was so funny that last movie had more of John in it and he wasn't credited on IMDb, but this movie had less John in it and he was credited for being in it,
My favorite part of the scene with having Jigsaw in it is to make him look young, he wears a baseball cap backwards.
Yeah.
How can we make him look young? And just have him take the cap and just put it on
He should have done it
backwards.
sideways.
Oh wow, then he really would have looked
I
young.
know. He would have looked so young. They would have been like, "Oh my God, we put him back too far. Put him on,
Yeah,
switch him back
he's.
over to the back."
I
Um,
mean, it's so. You're saying that you like that you thought this one had a pretty good story too, then.
yeah, well, what I liked about it was there was a lot, like not like a lot of story, but a lot of like action, a lot of. It wasn't just like one bit. Now it did have the big like obstacle maze kind of thing going for it, but that wasn't like how the second one I've talked about this a billion times. The second one had all like that was all it really was basically them and the contraption slash there was the second story, but the B story there. But like, the main thing was them trying to get out of the obstacle, and stuff, the place that they were in, and everything. So like this one had that, but it also had the racist people and it had some other,
And the leader of the racist people was the lead singer of Limp Bizkit. It's Chester.
Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
Don't you mean Linkin Park?
Oh, Lincoln Park. They're all the same fucking band to me.
I was gonna say Fred Durst was in this movie. Fuck. Didn't even realize that
Oh,
that was who it
he's
was.
made
No,
some
that's
pretty bad
Chester.
movies, but
But the girl, his girlfriend, was the girl that won Scream Queens #2. Interestingly enough, do you know who her father is?
no, I had no idea who she was to begin with.
Her father is the director of was it City Slickers? City Slickers. I think his name's like
Oh,
Ron Underwood or something.
oh, Ron Underwood. Yeah, he also directed Trimmers.
Yeah, I think that's his name. Um, but yeah, she played Kara. That was we never hear her name. We just hear she's girlfriend. They might as well just call her racist girlfriend.
So
Uh,
they, so if you won season two, you just got like a much smaller part,
Pretty
just
much
under a
like,
car, where the girl from
I mean,
season one is in two of these.
yeah, well, honestly, okay. Sierra's no longer around, so I guess I can say this.
What do you mean
Uh
she died?
Sierra? Sierra Holmes? Yeah, she passed away. She was my friend who was in Scream Queens. And she talked to me about Scream Queens. Sierra Holmes
Wait,
passed away.
the one that's in
No, not the
Scream
one that's
that's in
in
Saw.
that now. No, the one who's in
Dude,
Saw
you
is still
got to be
alive.
clarifying stuff because I have no
Jesus
idea who you're
Christ.
talking
Okay, I'm
about.
just saying, like, I'm gonna explain to you some stuff that I heard. So Gabby West, who is the girl. So I'm guessing her father's name is something West, I thought. Then, um, hold on, it doesn't say who. Maybe, I thought it was the director of City Slickers. And yeah, Ron Underwood. Maybe she changed her name to West maybe. Anyway, point is, she was, she won, but they wanted a blonde for that role, right? And stuff. And so there was only two people that competed that were blonde. They should have picked more, but I guess they had auditioned people, and the only people who won were like certain whatever. And so she won the award, but she was not a great actor. So they put her in that movie, but they had like a three-picture deal with her, you know, but they thought she did a bad job in that movie. And, which I mean, she's only in it for like what, 2 seconds? And she's only screaming like, help me, basically. But I think something happened. She wasn't able to do more stuff. So for a long time, because they didn't want to put her in more stuff, she had to wait till her you know, contract was up. Now, I mean, this is just rumor. I don't know for this for a fact. So I have to clarify that, but that's what I heard. That's why for a
Heard
long time she
from
didn't act in any other movies after this movie. I'm not lying.
the girl that's under the car.
Yeah.
I'm still confused of who we're talking about.
So we're talking about the girl under the car.
And
She
where did you
won
get
she
this
won
information from?
one of the girls who was in Scream Queens and lost.
Who's not this girl?
Not this girl. I don't think this girl would tell me that for real or not. So anyway, But yes, somebody who was in there and was told by someone else, I guess, that Lionsgate was looking for, a blonde, and there was only two blondes and one of them, was Allison Kyler, who did a great job but didn't apparently win, you know, and so the other girl won, and she wasn't that good of an actress. And I mean, if you watch Scream Queens, she's kind of the worst one if you ever watch Scream Queens.
Well, neither is the girl who won the first one. She's not a very good actress either. She's
Well,
okay.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't.
I mean, she won a contest. I mean, okay, but she's not a great actress. The black
Right.
girl who chopped her arm off, and then she gives the dramatic speech in this one. She's not, put her around better actors, and she's not not that good of an actress.
Hmm.
She's
Huh.
okay. It's nice having her back, but she's not that great.
Yeah, I mean, I thought she was good. I mean, I don't know. I mean, she wasn't she wasn't an Oscar winner for any of these roles, but I think her name was Tanidra Howard, you know, and I liked her. I didn't watch her in the first. I didn't really watch the first Scream Queens, and like the only reason I watched the second Scream Queens was because I was working with a girl who was in it, you know, so I watched it to see her and stuff, and I thought she did a pretty good job with some of some of the scenes that she had to do and stuff. She didn't win, you know, but she was pretty close, I guess, or whatever. She did pretty good, you know. So, I was very happy to have her. She was great. She was a lot of fun to work with. She was, you know, just unfortunately she passed away a couple years ago, and that really sucked because I got really close to her family. Still close to her
Oh,
family,
that does suck.
but yeah, I mean, her mom still calls me like every year around her birthday now, like I guess and stuff. So, that,
Mm,
yeah,
sorry.
suckers. Yeah,
I mean, I watched season one, but I didn't watch season two, so I just
yeah.
wasn't that interested. So
I
it's
mean, after you've seen season one, you're really seeing all the seasons, the same thing, except just different, you know, contestants and contests that they have to do, you know. Um, but yeah, but anyway, I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe she's a better actress than whatever. I don't know. I haven't really seen her act. I think I heard her father never cast her in a movie because, or like didn't want to cast her in movies because he didn't really want her to be in the film industry, like he
no
was.
wait, what girl? Are
This
you
is the yeah, and now I'm back to the girl who's actually in this movie.
under
Gabby.
the car?
Yeah, under the car.
Okay.
But yeah, I think she was mm, uh yeah, so she was in Scream Queens, and am I getting her confused with somebody else?
This has been a great episode so far. I'm getting
Yeah,
people wrong. You're getting people wrong. We're both getting
I am
confused.
completely
This
getting
is,
people wrong. I'm absolutely because okay, so the girl that won was not the girl that's related to
oh my God.
okay. That's abs I'm taking all of this out. We're starting all over
Uh,
from now on for real.
uh, hi, I'm Jonathan Moody, and today on, and my special
Hey
guest is we're
everybody.
starting from scratch. Wow.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm deleting a lot of that. All that stuff.
You better leave it all in.
No. No.
Yeah, because we've already been doing this for like a half an hour. You better
Oh
leave all
fuck.
this in.
Oh fuck. Uh yeah, so I got that wrong. She was not related to the Lana Underwood. That would make more sense. The Underwood name.
Yes. So okay, so
No,
uh,
I'm done. No, we're starting all over.
no,
Sorry.
we're not starting all over again. No, because then I got to read my opening Moody statement again, which I already deleted, and then I have to go
Oh,
find
god
it.
damn it. Ugh.
Well, I deleted it so that nobody could find it if my phone was ever lost. And then they'd go, "Oh my God, look, this is something that Jonathan Moody said like 10 years ago. Now we have to go put it out on the internet, so
Oh, like this is already out on the internet. So thanks. So, oh man.
So where would you now that we're on seven, where would you rank this one with the other ones? Just off the top of your head. Like, how would you do it?
Well, I know number one would be my favorite so far. Like nothing's beat it.
Okay, so number one, what's number two? Six?
Actually I like this one more than six. So I'll say
Okay,
this one.
seven.
And then six.
Okay, six. Okay, that's three. Three of them.
And then maybe I'm trying to remember them now, because like I mean,
So two's in the house.
right? I mean,
Three has the doctor, the female
oh yeah,
doctor
okay,
in it.
number three. Then
Three would be
probably
four.
yeah. So then what would be five?
And then
Probably
four is
four.
the one. So four, okay. And then
And then five was the
five
one
is
I
the one
hate.
with the
No,
pendulum.
one of the ones I hated. Right? Which was the one I hated? Was that four? Because I was so mad at one of them that I was just like, this just.
Four was the one that I called a bridge.
Which one was the one that's political? I like that one.
That would
Is
be
that five?
six.
That would be six. Okay.
That's the one about the healthcare
The
system.
healthcare system. Yeah. And what was five?
Five is the one where it's all Hoffman. Basically, it's got the pendulum at the very beginning. It's more the murder mystery.
Okay, I did like that one. So I think
So that'd
five
be
may.
seven, let's say.
uh,
Seven.
What?
So what that's the one that you like the least. So that would be
No, my least favorite would be two.
wow.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, so
Yeah,
two.
yeah. I mean, it had some okay moments, but it was just like one of my least favorite. I don't know. So what would yours be?
My number one would be six. My number two would be five. My number three would be probably four.
Hmm.
My number four would probably be three. My number five would probably be two. Six would be, what am I missing?
One? Did you even do one?
Oh, probably one. I like one a lot, but it's just the other ones I think are more interesting. One, and then what else am I missing? One, two, three, four, five, six. Oh, seven.
Seven's your least favorite? Wow. I'm surprised.
Maybe. I think it's only 90 minutes. I think it should have been 2 hours if this is going to be the final one. I think that it should have had more of the doctor in it. I think it should have had more of like the cult of Jigsaw
That's
that
right.
he's part of.
You sort of talked about this before that especially the part where you said that you wished it was longer because it was supposed to be the last one and everything. And I thought it was the perfect time. I mean,
I think Amanda should have been in it, throw her a flashback. I think they should have put everything into this to say this is the last one, which of course down the road we knew that, we all know these series always come back, but
well,
at
also
least for
we knew it wasn't
probably
I
a
mean
couple years.
it didn't set up like it didn't have like to me it didn't have like a finish, you know? Like there could still be more, you know?
I even looked it up for the ending, and I thought maybe there was like some fan theories, like what happened to Hoffman after the door closed on him in the bathroom from the first film, which is nice. You end where you begin, and the doctor says, Dr. Gordon says game over, closes the door, and we just hear him yelling. There are no theories, like there's nothing. It just says Dr. Gordon closes the door to leave Hoffman to die.
Right.
That's it. To me, that is not interesting. That is not very interesting at all. So I think that they should have just maybe killed him before the movie ends. Just get rid of everybody. But I guess this leaves it
Open.
open ended. But
Right.
they they use him in a future movie, but it's a flashback
Right.
technically. So um so there's nothing present day with him. Um the stuff with Dr. Gordon is predictable because fans have been theorizing on this since part two. With the hooded figure that's limping to the body, and you see it
Mhm.
on the video, is everybody's going, "Oh, that's Dr. Gordon," when it isn't. It was actually Lee Winnell, and he goes, "Yeah, for some reason I just did it with a limp." He goes, "I don't know why, I just did it," and then that I think became the basis for him coming back because you do see that scene in final chapter
Kind of
where like
like
Dr. Gordon looks into the camera and we do see that it's him.
it's kind of like my favorite franchise, which is Scream, where everybody's always saying, "Oh, they need to bring back Matthew Lillard and have like the cult of Stu and everything." I'm like, "Fucking Stu had a freaking uh a TV bashed on his head. There's no way he survived that. Just no way. Like a one that was on electrocuting his fucking face. There is no way he would be on or he would be alive and in jail and everything. Like he was dead, you know? Um,
He would just have to be all like disfigured or burnt or like all kind of messed up
well,
with like one of his eyes is all screwed up,
no, no, don't do this. Like I know
that
everybody loves Matthew
he's
Lillard.
been in jail and that's what they say. He's been in jail and he's been orchestrating everything from like part two on, basically, is what they would say. This is
My
all Stu's
theorizing,
plan.
there's Stu had a twin brother. It's all you
Oh
need to
God.
do. Twin brother. Bring the twin brother into it. You got Matthew Lillard back.
No, no,
Yep.
we don't want twin
Yep.
brother.
Yep. That's it.
Twin.
That's it. That's all you gotta do. Do not try to make him into like some monster that's, whatever. But anyway, like everybody theorizing about Gordon and everything. Now they bring back Gordon, which he wasn't dead or anything, so they could bring him back. I
Well, they
remember,
could say that he, loss of blood, he just drained out and then he died.
yeah, if
But
you
I mean,
wanted to.
but we know all of that was because of money issues. So,
Mhm.
the actor just didn't want to come back because of money.
I don't blame him.
And then they
I'm
they
I'm
worked
sorry.
it out
All these
and he came back.
fans that get mad when people don't want to come back because they're not getting paid enough. You know, I'm sorry. Actors know what they're worth, you know. I'm sorry. Carrie Elwes is worth a lot of money to me. He was freaking the man in black on in Princess Bride. He was, he was in
Yeah, but he's not carrying the series like Nev Campbell. Nev Campbell, I think she had the right to ask what she asked for, whatever that
yeah,
was. And everybody was saying just pay her because she is Scream. Dr. Gordon isn't Saw.
Tobin Bell is Saul. Like if they didn't pay Tobin Bell enough
Yeah.
money or whatever
I would
that
I
would
would like to think that he would get like a decent little chunk of change for even coming back for one day's work.
who?
So
Tobin?
Tobin Bell,
Now
yeah.
you gotta clarify.
No, because I said he.
Well, we could have been talking about Carrie Elwes.
Oh, come
You
on.
got a carrot, yeah, I was a little confused for a second. Like,
Oh no,
he
you
should have
weren't.
asked for some
We had
asked
just
for some
mentioned
money.
you had just said Tobin Bell, and I said yes. I hope that he got a good chunk of change, like a little chunk of change.
Well, I'm sure he did.
He
Even for like
refers to the
one
last
day.
person that we spoke
Even
about.
for that one like scene, basically, where he takes, he's wearing his little cap and he's saying he
His little rascal's baseball cap,
and he's saying to Sean Patrick Flannery, who
young
I'm
Indiana
sorry,
Jones.
but when he cries, he sounds like he reminds me of Boondock Saints. When he cried, sort of like when his wife was being, burnt alive and everything, he started crying. I was like, this is the same way he cried in Boondock Saints. Exactly.
Uh,
When his brother got, you know,
dude,
Norman Reedus
do
got
we
taken
need
away.
to remember with Boondock Saints how I only watched like a quarter of the movie and
I
turned it
know you
off?
hated it, but I
Uh,
fucking love that movie. And I love, I
so
met,
yeah, I don't know.
Norman, and I I didn't meet Sean Patrick Flannery. This was back in 2000 and wow, so he had already done Saw 10 or Saw 7, not Saw 10, Saw 7. By the time I had met him, because I didn't get into going to horror conventions till 2010, and that's when this was out. So I had saw him, I guess, I saw him when he was at a couple horror conventions and stuff. He was super nice to everybody, just chatting with people like after the convention was over and stuff, hanging out with people, just you know what I mean? And I thought that was pretty cool. I like him, Sean Patrick Flannery. In this movie, I thought it was a little weird because we never heard of this guy before, right? But he was on the list, of people or whatever.
Well,
Who?
it's the new list I think that Hoffman is making because it
Well,
doesn't. Some of these don't make sense for part six because it's the insurance people, John said, you need to focus on these
Right,
people.
but
These are the ones who basically killed me. In this one, and I brought up our favorite wiki page here.
mhm,
The it's the it's called, okay, the public execution trap
right.
is what it's called. And the which is the one that you have the picture there, like the bandsaw.
Yeah.
So that, where does this fit into John's or Hoffman's plan? How does he know? Now, one, I, who have been cheated on and stuff, was hoping for her death the entire time as she's strapped to the ceiling and she's got the blade aimed up at her. The two
Mhm.
guys have the blades that have to go backwards and forth and
Oh,
hit
I
them.
love that. That was probably my favorite scene in the whole movie. I forgot about that too. Like, just it starts with that. Like, it opens with that
Well,
chick
and
hanging, and like two guys that she's been messing around with.
I have always said this. If two guys find out that they're with one girl, the two guys should never get into a fight. The two guys should dump the shit out of her.
Hmm.
Get rid of her and go out and have a beer. Because even if she breaks up with one of them, she's going to cheat with somebody else.
Right.
So then there's always going to be like the two, maybe even three guys in there. So when the one guy, once they go back and forth, and she goes back and forth between the dudes, and he goes, she's a cheater. She's using both of us, and they just kind of put the saws upright, and her saw goes up into her and cuts her in half. I think I was cheering in the theater,
Well,
and so because she deserved it because she's a
do
cheating
you think
bitch.
that because they decided to live and let her die, do you think that they can go to jail for that? I was
There
like
were
thinking in my
cops
head, and there
there,
were cops there
and
that
yeah,
saw,
and
witnessed it.
I actually kind of thought the same thing. Like because they, yeah, but what would they do? One of them has to die. So no matter
Right.
what, so
So,
either like I would think she would be if she lived, because it's kind of like the woman who manipulated the guy over the phone to shoot himself.
right,
The court, the judge, I found her guilty because
right.
she manipulated him into doing it, knowing what his situation was. So this, I think, would be the same thing: is that she manipulated this, even though the guys may or may not have known each other. It sounds like maybe they did,
No, they did because
but
they were like, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here?"
yeah.
Kind
So,
of.
but I'm glad that they let her die.
Well, I mean, the
I'm all
only
for
reason
that.
I'm saying that asking that question is because, like, when it popped in my head is like the only way that they could both be, or like, like that it wouldn't be a thing is if he had killed himself, he let himself die. Then those two would be scot free and they wouldn't go to jail. They just hate each other. The woman and one of the other guy or whatever. But like the one if one of the guys had decided I'll just sacrifice myself for you, do which who would do that? Nobody would. But I'm just
Nobody.
saying that would be the only way that the two other people won't go to jail if for the murder, because then
I
you are now saying that you are putting your life, which is normally right, above somebody else's that you know. And so you are now saying it's okay for us to murder this person.
I'm going to disagree. I think that if under the circumstances, I don't think that they would go to jail. I don't
You
think
think
so.
they would
The
just
the two
consider it because it
guys.
was survival?
The survival, it's manipulation from Jigsaw. It's yeah, I don't think so. I
But
don't think either one of them would go to jail.
by the
No.
way, that was the most public, most awesome. Like I it was just I would have cheered too, period, because if I were in the audience, because I loved the fact that like Jigsaw itself came out and started talking to them, or whatever, while
You
they
could
he
hear it
was
over the
in you
speaker.
could hear it
Yeah.
over the speaker while they were inside this, like, I don't know, whatever it was, like a cage kind of thing or whatever.
My question is, how did he set this all up? How did he get the bodies in? Because according to Hoffman, he's working by himself.
Yeah.
So it's like, how did he set this all up without people seeing it?
Yeah.
And why did he put them in those weird overalls? But yet the girl still looks hot.
I mean, gorgeous.
You
She was
know,
gorgeous, but
so it's but I'm still, yeah, I'm happy with the outcome of that. And remember what I said, that the blood is pink. The blood is, your picture is red, but when you watch the movie, it's pink. The blood is
yeah.
not red. It has like a pinkish color to it. And I don't know if that's because of the 3D or
I
not.
think it's the 3D. I noticed a lot of weird things with the 3D, because we're watching it. I don't want I didn't watch it on 3D. I don't know if you did, but I watched it on
No.
HBO Max, and it was you could definitely tell it was a 3D movie. There were things that kind of went toward the camera or whatever, and you're like, that would have been cool if it came at my eyes or something. Yeah, like I
It's
get it.
so, like most 3D movies, it's so pointless. It's so, here, Jonathan, take my joint.
You're
It,
doing the Friday the 13th part three.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that
it's
scene.
so,
Or
because
the
remember
eyeball,
back.
the eyeball. Whoop.
Ooh, yes, he's doing his prophecy thing. And remember back in the day with House of Wax, the original House of Wax with Vincent Price. It wasn't
Yeah.
about things going into the camera. It was about you being in the room. It was
Mm.
about that three-dimensional thing of like you standing in the room and it having that dimension and having that, it's not a flat thing that you're looking at.
Right.
But then somebody had the idea, oh, let's have shit go into the camera.
Right. What
And
is it? There's a thing called 4D. I don't know if you've ever been a part of 4D experiences, but they're 3D, but they put things like you all of a sudden feel like water on you, so like it feels like rain, and stuff.
oh, I think
So
I know what you're talking about.
you know,
Yeah.
they do it at Busch Gardens in Williamsburg. They have like little shows. There are sometimes like 4D shows. There's one that was a pirate one that Leslie Nielsen was the pirate, like one. So before obviously before he died, he's but
Are
it
you
it
sure?
was and Rodney Dangerfield was in it as yeah, like he was a pirate that was underneath and doing the poop deck, I guess, or whatever, and he was like, I get no respect still. You know, it was it was cute, but they'd have like if it splashed on you, you would feel water come on you, and I like that kind of stuff like that. But that's not you can't have that at your house. You're only going to be able to have like 3D at your house
Well,
because
I mean, you could do the 3D and then just have like a friend like throw water at you,
you could,
like,
but
and like blow on you, or something
I,
like
I I
that.
don't
So
want anybody blowing on me at all while I'm watching the movie.
I've never, I mean, during the 80s at my age, of course, I saw all the 3D movies because that was the fad and we all went to them Friday nights and that was fun. But it's these days, just the 3D is so, I think, pointless. It just
Uh-huh.
doesn't serve, because even with like, uh paranormal activity fell into the same thing that this did is, they knew that it was over, so then they did the ghost dimension in 3D, and they knew this was over, so they did Saw 3D. So
Hmm.
that's just kind of what they seem to do. And
It's a horror trope too. I mean, we mentioned Friday the 13th Part 3D, but there was also Jaws 3D, which is so funny
yeah.
that this was Saw 7, but it was called Saw 3D, the final chapter, which I think is such an annoying title. But so it wasn't ever I know but other
Well, but remember, it was Friday the 13th part 3,
right,
3D.
right. That makes
So they
sense.
could have just made it, but they could have just made it Friday the 13th 3D. 3.
But they didn't. They made it part 3 3D, which
Yeah. So
yeah,
this doesn't bug me, because I just know that they're I think it'd be more confusing if it was Saw 7 3D,
yeah, it might be just
or if they
too many
just called
numbers.
it Saw 3D. They needed to add the subtitle to it. Um,
Yeah, they
but
didn't really need to call it the final chapter, but then that's also wasn't Friday the 13th part 4 was the final chapter, you know,
well, they do it to get you in there. Like Freddy's dead.
or the
You know,
final
the
chapter,
final, well, the
the
final
final
nightmare.
destination. Then there's the final destination, you know, which was funny because there already was a movie. There was already Final Destination, and there was the Final Destination, which wasn't the Final Destination, of course, because they did Final Destination 5. They should have just called
So
that New Beginning.
I
I mean, I don't know. It's
it's
so
the
confusing these
only
days.
3D thing that I liked in this was the very end when Dr. Gordon throws the hacksaw. That's it. That's
Yeah, it
the
was pretty
only
cool.
time that that I thought that it really worked.
Oh,
So
well, actually, no, there's another time for me. I thought it would have worked if I'd seen it in 3D. Guessing, did you see it in 3D or did you watch it in 2D
yeah,
when
I
you went
saw it
to
in
the
3D.
theater?
I saw it in
Okay.
Beverly Hills in 3D. Yeah,
Nice. We didn't name drop Beverly Hills. All right.
there
You
we
know.
go. Yeah,
But I was watching when I watched it, the scene, the dream sequence with Jill, I thought that would have looked really cool. And they were obviously trying to make it because it does come at the camera, when she explodes, kind of like her body, like
yeah.
everything kind of comes out. Because I was like, oh my God, that is awesome. I was like, we're gonna kill Jill in like the first,
I'm
beginning of the
well.
movie.
I'm glad that that was a dream because it wasn't a trap.
Yeah, it wasn't it?
She was
Well,
just getting murdered.
but
That's
she
all it
was
was.
trapped. She couldn't go anywhere, but it wasn't a trap. You're right.
No, it wasn't a saw trap. It was just a trap, I guess. But yeah, it's just her getting murdered. And I like Hoffman sewing his cheek back together.
Yep.
I like that. Um, I do like how Jill dies because once again bringing it back to the beginning. And it's a little ironic that he uses that's the bear trap you know that she gets killed with is the iconic one.
Mhm.
Um, so the one that's in your picture there with the two guys, not my favorite. So
That one? Yeah.
yeah. Then there's the pain trap. What is the pain trap?
Wait, so this is the one with the two guys and the girl? That's not your favorite?
No.
Okay. I liked it. I don't know.
So what is
I mean,
the
it's not my favorite probably, but I did not like it.
oh, the pain train. So that's the one that we just talked about, which
Yeah,
was the
the pain
dream.
train, the dream.
Um, and then oh yeah, pain. I'm saying okay, yeah, the pain train. Then there's the horsepower trap, which
Horsepower
is the
trap.
one with all the racists with Fred
Oh
Durst.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, not Fred Durst. The other one, Chester Bennington.
I'm joking.
Oh,
Um,
I thought you
no,
totally forgot or something. You're saying Lip Biscuit again.
no.
Um,
Um, so it's that one I just find to be kind of pointless in a
right.
way. I like it, but why are they there?
What did they do to Jigsaw?
Yeah,
Like just being racist?
I guess because it's not Jigsaw anymore, it's Hoffman.
No, it's still Jigsaw though. I
I don't
think
think so. I think we're
because
the final Jigsaw thing was 6. That was
the
it. It's
the only
done.
reason I'm saying that is because we get that flashback with him in the hat talking to the guy in it and everything. So I think that whole trap with that guy because he
Okay, yeah,
lied
the guy
because
who
he
faked it, who lied,
faked it,
okay, that
lied.
would be
That's
Jigsaw.
Jigsaw. I think this is
But
Jigsaw. It still is
I don't
Jigsaw's.
think the racist people I think are that's Hoffman. I think the threesome, that's Hoffman.
Well, how does even Hoffman or Jigsaw, how would anybody know that this girl has been, maybe that was Jill, you know? Like this because that situation could have happened before Jill like stopped, you know, and stuff. Because wasn't Jill helping Hoffman out at first?
Only in distributing those like folders, the manila folders.
Okay, so she wasn't actually
She
part of
doesn't.
any of the actual traps or anything.
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay. Well, so yeah, so
These are just that they probably came up with the idea. Hey, this guy, which I think is a great idea. It's one of my favorite ideas out of the series is what if a guy fakes it and Jigsaw doesn't like it? Kind of like how Jigsaw didn't like that Hoffman was imitating him with like the pendulum for revenge.
yeah.
And so I like that they did. My huge issue with this is we see young Indiana Jones take his shirt off and he's got the hook marks. Were those real? Were those fake?
I think those are fake
Okay, so why wouldn't his wife know?
because he didn't tell her. Because they're
So she when did the how is he applying these scars? Does he go like he's in the shower? Do they just stay on their permanent effects? Like if she goes, "Oh my God, honey, that looks like it hurt." Wait, that's rubber.
no,
Like
I think
how would he get away with his wife not knowing that those are fake?
I don't know. Let's see if that's a goof. Because sometimes
Because
they
his wife, which Jigsaw or Billy calls a trophy wife. So I guess because we see him and his friend in the bar, and they're obviously they don't have a lot of money because the way they look. Um, they get the idea. He becomes famous, and then he marries the woman, which is why she's called the trophy wife because she came in after he had money. But then why wouldn't she know those things on his chest are fake?
So when Bobby, there are mistakes in this movie, continuity mistakes and stuff. When Bobby, which is young Indiana Jones, is trying to save Suzanne, he receives three sets of punctures in his sides. Later, when he is trying to save his wife by crawling up the chains, the puncture marks disappear and then reappear. So there are a lot
Oh,
of like little, you know, like I'm guessing
but
the
but a,
director wasn't able to catch a lot of these things.
but a continuity error is one thing. You're writing into the script when he takes his shirt off, it reveals the puncture marks from the hooks.
Right?
So, except for the people that actually know that this is fake, which I'm guessing is maybe only his best friend, that the other people thought this existed because he wrote the book. So the publishing, but so why isn't John killing people for the publishing company? They published his book and made money off of it. So why
Um,
why isn't he killing the editor? Why isn't he killing the publisher? Why isn't he killing the person who read the manuscript and pushed it forward? But his wife, if she knew nothing, and she oddly is almost an exact duplicate for a porn star from the 70s named Veronica Hart. I thought it was very weird that she could have been like her sister, but it's
or
very
played
weird.
her in a movie.
If there was the Veronica Hart story, she could play her in the film. And why did the wife, who knew nothing, maybe the lawyer did, maybe the person did, but the wife who did nothing, why was she killed the worst?
I know, seriously.
She
Well,
got,
because she
we
was the
know
final
fire is the
person.
worst way to die.
Because she was the final person, right? She was the final thing he had to do. Now, this goes back to what you were talking about in a couple other movies. You were talking about now that Hoffman is taking over, he's not being fair to many of these people. At least John would give people like chances and stuff, and then they would survive, right? Like to go back to I think it was three with the nurse and everybody, and that the father, the husband is trying to find her, and stuff like that. And he makes it alive. He makes it out. He's fine, right? Other people don't make it out, but he tries and I think he saves somebody or something, he like saves whatever. And he survives it. Um, I feel like
Oh, he's the guy with the
Hoffman,
pig slop. He he
yeah.
he saves him, but the guy ends up dying. So
Yeah, it ended up dying, but he tries to, he could have saved him. Um, but he had like a better chance of saving these people. Like it wasn't set up for him to fail. I feel like all of these traps, including going back to the racist trap, like, they don't give them enough time at all to do this stuff when the guy is trying to grab the lever and he's pulling out his skin, which I think is like, I think Jigsaw said that you're gonna see that we're all the same color in the inside, while he's ripping his
yeah,
skin out. That was kind of a neat little sort of thing, saying that, you guys are all racist scum. And but once again, yeah, these guys are Hoffman people because Hoffman just wants them all to die. He doesn't want them to actually live and survive, you know?
it was at least early on. They all had something to do with something. Like
Right.
how were the two guys and the girl related to any of this? And people
Yeah,
use each
two guys
other
and a
and
girl.
cheat on each other all the time.
And
So
why does that make
why
them like why do they need to be in that? Like why does that matter in the scheme of life? If
Well,
the
yeah,
girl
because it's not like Hoffman was in the police station and this young police officer is there, which would be one of the two guys. And then Hoffman would be like, "What's wrong with you?" And he'd be like, "My girlfriend, she's cheating on me with another guy, and I don't know. I think that she might be using both of us. I don't know, but if I could kill this guy, and then boom, here they are in this trap. That would kind of make sense. Or if Hoffman witnessed these guys beating up on a cop, maybe because just Hoffman's a cop, so I keep using cops, but like a black cop, and they were harassing this black cop. Boom! Next thing you know, they're in the junkyard in the
I mean,
cars.
maybe they were, but we don't see any of that.
We don't see any of that
Yeah,
because
we
the
need
the
that
the
stuff.
traps are somehow supposed to relate to whatever they're guilty of. Like
I
the
see what
beginning
you're
of
saying.
six, it's a pound of flesh. So
Right,
this is what are you willing to sacrifice a pound of flesh for what you've done to people in the healthcare system?
right.
So okay, so this guy, right, fakes this whole thing for money. He writes the book, becomes famous, gets on TV shows, now has his own people, publicist, lawyer, who may or may not know that this is fake. And then he gets the wife, which I'm guessing, because like I said, she's called the trophy wife. So she probably came in later. And so I guess just because the lawyer, the publicist, and the wife are all involved in this scheme,
Mm-hmm.
they're guilty because nobody's ever written a book about Charles Manson and made money off of it. I mean, it doesn't really. I get the two guys, our main guy, Bobby, and his friend, because they're conning.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't, I don't know. I don't think that the people that are around him, because everybody has a publicist.
Right.
Everybody has a lawyer. They all have. It doesn't matter if it's for a book or whatever it is. They all have these things. So does that make everybody guilty?
I don't know. I can't. This is you're I mean, it's still a fun movie,
Oh, I mean,
regardless of the,
I like it. I mean, I like all of them. I mean, I think that they could probably switch rankings all the time with me. And
yeah.
and I didn't find this boring at all. I mean, I went
I
right
mean,
through it. And I
yeah.
do love the idea of faking it because it's
Well, you
you
could
you
tell he
know,
faked it when he was on the I had a feeling this guy, like, who is this guy? Why is this guy on on television talking about surviving Jigsaw, when we don't know this guy. We've never met this guy before, and all this other
well,
shit.
it's the okay. So I went over to my friend's house, Miranda's house, who's also my effects artist, and we normally do once a month like movie night. So
Right.
I said, "Oh, are there any superhero movies that you haven't seen?" She goes, "Well, what about you?" And I said, "Okay, Marvel wise, I have not seen the Eternals and like one of the Ant-Man movies." So she goes, "Well, I haven't seen Eternals in a while. Let's watch that." I said, "Okay, fine. It's almost 3 hours,
It's way too
but
long. Yeah.
I watched it." And I remember there being reviews where people would say, well, wait, if the Eternals have been here for eternally,
Yeah.
why didn't they help with Thamos?
Yeah.
And so I asked Miranda, who is the 200% Marvel fan, who, when I asked her, are there any bad Marvel movies? She pretty much couldn't say one, you know.
Eternals is one.
So she liked Eternals.
I
And so she goes, that's a good question. I don't know why they couldn't have helped with Thamos. I don't know why they weren't there. I said, well, you know why they weren't there? Because the movie was made after.
Right.
Nobody thought of the Eternals in that phase.
That was
That's
literally why. That is literally the
Eternals
reason
came
why.
later. So the same thing with this of why we never heard of Bobby or any of this stuff happening is because it's movie 7 and not movie 3.
Right. What I'm
Now,
saying,
if they did this in chronological order, if somebody went through and edited them, yeah, you could take his stuff and put it chronologically where it would be maybe after part 3 or something,
I
you
don't.
know. But that's the problem with introducing brand new things like this, especially when John is very much alive and his head is not shaved or anything. I don't think it is. I think he has some hair on there.
Hmm.
So it happens before part 3. So I guess maybe this, yeah, would maybe take place between 1 and like 2 and 3, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But it's
I,
all because the writers didn't think of it. They didn't think of it until now. That's why we never heard of it or heard of him.
yep. And
So it's I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing because we do get a flashback, and
we get
and
the
and so I
flashback
don't
with
mind it.
John, thank God. Because if this
So
had been like Saul um without John, it probably, I don't know. I probably wouldn't have liked it, because or as much, because I like having John there is the big thing. You need to have Jigsaw there. You need to have the original Jigsaw there. You know what I mean?
he needs to be in at least every movie in a flashback. You need to get him in
Yeah.
in there somehow.
Now I
Well,
know
so
he's not in Spiral, and
no, I think they show picture. Well, yeah, he's not in Spiral, but I think they show pictures.
is he in
But like
Jigsaw, like the Jigsaw movie?
yeah,
Okay. So yeah, and the only reason I would say, like, anyway, he's not in Spiral is from the Book of Saul. It's not actually, you
it's
know,
pictures,
yeah.
like they open up a folder and there's a picture of John, type of thing. There might even be pictures of Jill. There might be other stuff too, but it's
I love
good
Betsy
because
Russell.
she oh yeah, I think it's great that she was in this. I remember seeing her going, God, she looks really familiar. And then a friend of mine goes, that's Tomboy. I'm like, what? Like, that's the chick from Tomboy, who for no reason at all just takes her shirt off and her boobs fall out because she's a tomboy. See, it doesn't matter if she's around other guys. She's a tomboy and she works on cars. So, she's hot working on a car in front of
So
like
you're
6 guys.
saying
So she just
to
takes her shirt right off.
the fans of Saul, if you haven't seen Tomboy, go watch it because you can see her boobs.
Oh, definitely go see Tomboy. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So the next trap, which is one that's only shown briefly, is the lawnmower trap.
Which one's that?
That was in a when they were going around the meeting of all the survivors.
Oh, okay, yeah.
and the one woman who says, it was horrible, I couldn't, it was awful, and she's hanging, and it's another guy, and they're hanging above all the upside down lawnmowers,
Right.
which is weird because I guess you would have to start one, then put another one in, start that, then put another one in, start that, then put another one in, start that. And by the time you got to the very last one, it might have run out of gas. But
Right.
unless he rigged it to where you could start them all at the same time.
Yeah,
But did
maybe.
you also notice in the survivor meeting that the older secretary from part 6 was there?
Yeah, I didn't notice that, but that's, I mean, I'm not
Yeah,
surprised.
there's a couple cameos from the other films in there. So, but there's that one, and then after that is Bobby's trial. So
I
that's when
did
it all
like that
starts.
all she had to do was slap him to knock him off into the lawnmowers or whatever. Like when she was up there trapped on there, she just like
Oh yeah,
smacked him
she
in
like bitch slapped him,
yeah,
and he just
bitch
fell
slapped him
right
and he
off.
fell right into it. And I was like, that's the ultimate slap, like right there or whatever for somebody who's been abused. Like I bet people who were survivors of abuse love that scene, you know.
The film
Um
falling right, just right
and then
down.
somebody was complaining like to her about the fact that she was like you morally you're wrong for letting him die just because you whatever. And I'm like, I mean, once
Oh yeah,
again,
yeah, because yeah. Oh, okay, yes. That's yeah. That's who you're referring to. Yeah, is her. Yeah, that's right. Because that's yeah. She was being abused, and the guy was the abuser,
right.
right? That were hanging,
Hmm.
and then she fought back, and that's when he fell.
Yep. And then but the other girl, there's another girl there that was, yelling at her saying basically she was wrong to let her, to be happy that her, that she was able, or something like that. It was like
He
I
did
just
deserve to die. If you're an abuser,
if you're an
and it
abused
it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. If you're an abuser to another person or an animal or whatever,
oh
you deserve
she
that. You
so
deserve to fall into lawnmowers.
she said her line was like sort of like, I mean, I'm gonna paraphrase, I'm gonna get it wrong exactly, but she was like, so you had to like kill him in order to live, or whatever, like, and I'm like, bitch, yeah. I mean,
Yes, because
this
it
guy is an abuser that's gonna keep on abusing. I mean,
yes,
you
because
know,
the abusers are weak people, but they're strong, weak people. So yeah, if they have any, if you have somebody, and if it's a man, let's say, and the person's like 6 foot tall and they got muscles, and even though they may be the stupidest, dumbest person on the planet, if you're a smaller person, yeah, the only way of maybe getting out of this because they're beating the shit out of you is by putting a bullet in their head.
uh-huh.
So, I mean, at times that's what these people have to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, if it is, and it is justice by having him, so for a woman to say that to another woman, I think is pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, well, so by killing him is the only way that you got out. Yeah. And it probably made her a stronger person
Mm-hmm.
because it's Jigsaw doing it. So, I mean, that's the
And
whole
she
point of
survived
this.
Jigsaw, Once
Yeah.
again, that wasn't Hoffman, that was John.
I don't
Bec-
know.
I'm pretty sure because I don't think Hoffman likes to let people live. He wants everyone to die because he's an
Well,
asshole.
that you're kind of correct about. So let's see.
Yeah.
So the lawnmower trap. The victims of these tracks were Sydney and Alex. They were suspended several feet above a floor of let's see of lawnmowers. Okay, we know all that. Alex. Okay, the several upturned. Okay, but this is a long explanation for something that's only a sentence. In order to survive, okay, so one of them has to let go of the lever,
Yeah.
thereby falling into the blades. So yeah, I think that was completely justified.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
and
and
you
once
and you are
again, it goes
correct
to
with
like who's gonna survive, like who would uh like just like those two guys and choosing themselves over the chick, you have to decide, are you worth living or is the other person worth living? Who's, And if the other person wants to live more than you, they're going to fight for it, and everything like that. And who's going
Well,
to
and
win?
okay, so then I would say with the two guys and the girl, it is that was more of a revenge spite thing.
Hmm.
And so the even though the guys are being manipulated, they're stupid because they are letting this one person manipulate them.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm guessing that she's great in bed to keep both of them there. But
I
I still
mean,
think that they made the right choice. And then with the lawnmower, if it is between the person being abused and the abuser, I would hope that the abuser is the one who would die,
well,
and he did.
it's really funny to go back to the sixth one, where they had that one guy that kept picking women over the men, right, to serve
He did.
to survive. So we go now to this next movie, and there's two guys picking themselves over the woman, right? Like they're not. They were, but and was also, remember, the you were saying on the last movie that one girl was like, "I'm pregnant," and they're like, "Bitch, you are not pregnant," and right? And she was like, "But no, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. Don't kill me. You're gonna kill a baby," right? And blah blah blah, and and then this. What if she had said that to him? What if she said, "I'm pregnant"?
Well,
You
she
know,
she would have to be, I'm pregnant. Then the guys would be like, whose baby? And then she'd go, well, of course, Jeffrey, it's yours. And the other guy would be like, fuck you. Then she'd be like, no, Steve, it's yours. Oh, okay, well then fuck you. It would
right?
still probably go back and forth. Um, but with Saw 6 and the chick saying that she's pregnant, of course, women could use many excuses to get out of things. And that's one of them. What if she was? What if she just didn't tell anybody? And
I
and
never
she got
I didn't
shot
think
in the
about that
stomach.
actually. No, yeah,
Yeah, what if it's
that's
just like she wanted to keep it private, and then she's like, "Oh fuck, no, I'm pregnant. Get me out of here." And he's like, "Bitch, I sat right next to you. But I
I
just didn't tell you." She still got shot in the stomach.
Okay, so I have my only response to that was that would have been her first that would have been her first thing. She only said I'm
Probably.
pregnant after the other girl said something else, or whatever, to try to win, to
I
try to
think she
get.
said, "Yeah, like I have kids. Like
I
I
have
like I have three
kids.
kids or
I have
something." And then
three
she's like,
kids.
"Oh crap, what's better than kids? I'm pregnant."
Right. So I think the guy knew she was not pregnant, but you're right. She could have been. And then she got shot in the stomach. We will never know because that was never, it would have been a fucked up ending to the movie where it was like pregnant woman is killed in this,
Yeah, there should have
terrible
been like a
tragedy.
little news report while the
Yeah.
credits are going
And
up.
the that would have been great. Yeah, that would have been such a great Easter egg thing, like a small
And
thing
the
at the
worst
end.
tragedy of this is Sarah was pregnant but shot in the stomach.
Yeah, oh, like a news thing at the end, like
Yeah,
halfway through the movie or whatever, they pop up and they're like at the halfway through the credits, they pop up and they're like, and this just in, well,
yeah.
this chick
We
was
just found out that
pregnant,
one of the victims on
was
the
uh was pregnant with a baby that got shot in the stomach,
well,
like
I mean, and I wonder if Jigsaw doing this ever thinks about that type of stuff, because obviously, I mean, these days it's different. Women, being pregnant, um, does he ever think of that when he puts a woman in a trap? Like maybe
um
she's not necessarily, maybe she
he doesn't know,
did
like
see, like the woman who drove off, like the guy whose kid got killed by the car, the hit
mhm.
and run, and the woman saw it, and then Jigsaw put her in a trap. What if she was pregnant? He wouldn't know that. He would knock her out, or Hoffman would, or Amanda would, and then they would put him up on the device where they most likely can't really talk, and then she would get murdered, and she's pregnant. How would anybody know?
I mean, you don't know. Even like, one of my friends is pregnant and she's, giving birth this month, she's showing very much. You can tell she's pregnant, you know. But you wouldn't know. What am I seeing? A cat in a
See,
chair? Cat in a
there's my there,
chair.
there's my cat in a chair. That's why the chair is there, all for the kitty cat,
My
all for the
dog
kitty
is
cat.
my dog would love a little chair, I think, next to me. I should probably have one.
Yeah, this is
Um,
just the chair by my dining room table. So, but they like sitting next to me. So, but
yeah,
no, yeah, you're excuse me, you're 100 you know percent correct on these type of things. So it's maybe he watches them enough to know that they're not pregnant. Because if they were, then he'd be doing the same thing that the druggie did to his wife, that to
right.
Jill. So
Yeah,
then he'd be a hypocrite.
he would be a hypocrite. But now it's Hoffman, so all bets are off, you know.
Well,
Who
yeah.
knows
So
what
then that
Hoffman will do?
so now we're doing Bobby's trial, and he has 60 minutes. For some reason, 60 is the key number here. 60 seconds,
Well, there
60
was 30
minutes.
seconds at one point and everything for the
Oh, was
races.
there?
They had 30 seconds for the races. And I thought that was not fair. Not fair at all. Everybody else has been getting 60 seconds or
Yeah, and
longer,
he's got to rip his
and he
his
has to
skin
rip his
off.
skin off. Like that was like that right there. That just proved to me that this was probably Hoffman. He was mad that these guys were racist. They probably you're right. They probably did something to somebody and got in trouble, got in jail at some point. And Hoffman just doesn't like skinheads, running wild. So he's going to put an end to them. Like, make something where there's no way in 30 seconds he can rip off his glued skin and pull the lever in order to save him, his girlfriend, and the two friends. Just that's
No,
not
and
gonna
the
happen.
amount of work that trap was, because he had to deal with four people. So
Right.
there was the driver, Chester Durst, and then you had his girlfriend under the car, and then you had the guy behind the car, and then you had the guy in front of the car.
Wow. Um,
So for him not to pull that lever, which doesn't make sense to be on a car anyway, so then that means Hoffman has to be a mechanic and fix the lever to make everything stop. So you got the girlfriend whose head gets run over and the rest of her body gets run over. The guy in the back has like his jaw and arms ripped off. And then the guy in front gets like cut in two because of the car.
mm,
But what does this have to do with anything?
mm.
Okay, they're racist. According to certain people, there's good people on both sides, but they are racist. So,
You had to say that, didn't you? You had to
yeah.
put that in there.
But what did the racist have to do? And I hope that they really are, because a friend of mine who I'm not friends with anymore, he shaved his head. We
Did
all
you?
did a dare. We all got drunk. We
Oh,
all shaved our
okay. I
heads.
was gonna say, is that why you're not friends with him anymore? She
No,
was
oh
said.
no, we just had a falling out. And he was walking down the street, and these two young guys were following him. And he's kind of a big guy. And he goes after like a couple blocks. He's like, "What? What do you want from me?" And they're like, "Where's the meeting?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Where's the meeting?" And he realized they thought that he was like a white supremacist, and they were trying to find out where the meeting was.
The Klan meaning?
Something like white supremacist, Klan, whatever meeting it was racist. And he turns to them and goes, "Assholes, I'm fucking Jewish," which he is.
Did he
And
get
they
his
kind of
ass beat for that or
no,
no?
they kind of ran away. This guy, he was kind of a big
I
guy.
know, but I'm just saying, like,
And
don't they don't like Jews, so
no, because most of those people are wimps. That's why they all fight in groups.
yeah.
You get one of these people that are wearing the boots and the shaved heads, and they look like a white supremacist. Alone, they're wimps. But together in a group, yeah, they're going to kick the crap out of you if there's only one of you. But it's like, so I'm hoping that if this was Jigsaw or Hoffman, that they did do well. I don't wish racism against anybody, but at least that they did do something to deserve what was in there.
Yeah.
Because you can be racist against somebody, maybe you don't like Hispanics. It doesn't make you necessarily a bad evil person. It's not like you're
Right.
going to go out and hurt Hispanics. It's just you're racist against somebody,
You
which
just
is
don't like
stupid.
them for whatever reason.
Yeah,
And
it's dumb, because how can you
um
be racist against an entire group of
well,
people?
I
But what did this have to do with what was going on in the movie?
and a
Is
lot of that is in
my long point.
yeah, a lot of it is where you come from, right? So some people in the South or whatever, their family were racist, and so they're gonna be racist, because they were sort of
It's an
brought up in
upbringing.
that. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
an
yeah,
upbringing,
sure.
and they were brought up that way and stuff. So, but it's a learned behavior, because you don't come out of the womb going, I don't like Jews, that's just not doesn't happen. It's something you're taught, and everything. And so you can be untaught that, and everything. So
Which was done in American History X.
yeah,
Edward Norton was reconditioned basically. He was untaught.
yeah, which is good. I mean, that's
Yeah.
good to show that kind of stuff.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah.
um,
It's just I wish that from the beginning of Saw, normally it's because of something. It's because of like in Seven, the seven deadly sins, the people are killed by that sin. Gluttony, the person shoved with food. It's so now we're kind of getting into, I guess, movie seven, and we're like, well, we're just going to think of cool deaths. We're just going to think of cool traps. And I had my girlfriend cheated on me once with this other guy, so let's do a trap with that. You
well,
know,
here, yeah, and there should have things to back it up. They should have had scenes where, at least flashbacks or something, either involving Jigsaw or Hoffman,
but it's only
where
90 minutes.
I I mean,
I
maybe
mean, I
maybe
guess,
maybe that you're right. Maybe if they had added another half hour, they could have explained more things, But a lot of people would, I don't know. People are, I mean, I hate to say it, a lot of people are tired of watching 2 hour movies or 2.5 hour movies or three
but if
hour.
they're good movies, I mean, if you're giving the audience what they want,
Yeah.
okay. So on to the next one. So this is the trial, Bobby's trial, and this is why I was thinking maybe this was almost Hoffman, but it's not. But like you said, it's Jigsaw. So I'm like, okay, I guess it is because he does take. There's the suitcase, and he takes the file out of the suitcase that has Bobby's picture in it.
Mm-hmm.
But Bobby's trap is, and they call it the suspended cage. So to me, this almost seems more Hoffman. So he's
It
in
seems,
that cage, and in the cage, and then he pulls the handle that drags it across the ground. He goes up, and then the teeth, like the
yeah.
floor comes down with the spikes on it. So then he tries to open it. When he does, he almost falls out onto the spikes. How is that a trap? Because normally somebody wakes up, even with like Amanda, with with the trap on her head, it's still you have X amount of time to get the key to take the trap off. How is him pulling a lever or like a handle? He could have fallen right out of the cage onto the spikes into movie.
Yeah.
So that's why I was always thinking maybe this is Hoffman because the guy, as we've witnessed, Hoffman doesn't want people to win. So he has to take the cage and move it and then land past the spikes. But if he hit the spikes and died,
Then you
what
would have
happens
won.
to every?
Well, everybody would have died.
I'm guessing, yeah, especially the wife, because every time Bobby failed, the wife's chain got closer to the ground.
Yeah.
So it's
And he failed on every single one of them because they
everyone.
didn't because they did not have time enough for them to be able to do all that stuff. And then there was the okay, we'll get to some of the specific ones. But I did like that he had to swing, in order to basically um it 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 was it was kind of cool. Like I like that because then he had to go whoosh and then had to like jump basically to get away from the to not get hit with the spikes, and stuff. So I thought that was kind
Right.
of a neat little
I didn't
uh
mind that, and I didn't mind the trap. I just kind of
it
thought
just
about it
was not
like,
really a trap. It was
yeah, it's like if he wasn't fast enough,
he would have died.
game over. I
Yeah.
mean, so I mean, it's a good thing that he has good reflexes and grabbed onto the cage.
Maybe
So
Hoffman knew that.
yeah, but I think that you're right that this is still Jigsaw. It's not Hoffman, so he shouldn't, like, he could be in the cage. He pulls the lever, right? So it brings it up. Billy comes on, hi, Bobby. This is your trial, your test. And then he drops out and then continues or something. I don't know. It just doesn't, yeah, it seems weird, but
Hmm.
okay. So then the one after suspended cage is the silent circle. And that's the one where she's got the fish hook down her throat,
Oh, yeah, that's what I was gonna say next.
and there's the
Uh,
key, and he has to
yeah,
pull it out. And if she screams, all four spikes
yeah,
go into her neck.
and so she has to be quiet. She has to not scream, and so he keeps yelling at her like, "Would you just shut the fuck up?"
Yeah, which is actually funny. Um,
Yeah, he's just
but
the whole time he's yelling at her, and I'm like, because at one point she looks at him and she was like, "Just do it," right, and everything, and then she's pulling it up and she's going, "Ah," you know, and it's just it doesn't. Oh my
I,
God.
I could not even imagine, because when I was a kid, I was on a fishing trip, and this little girl, I was like just this little kid, probably like 10 years old, and there was a friend of ours with her. With us, she was also 10, and she had we were at a lake, and she cast the fishing rod, and the hook hit me right in the cheek, and she yanked it, which pushed it through my cheek and yanked me forward. 10-year-old kid, I'm screaming my head off, and they had to figure out, because the hook went inside my
Ugh.
mouth. Because when she
Did you
did
have to go to the
this,
hospital or what?
no, they were able to cut the hook on this end, and then the other part fell inside my mouth, and I spit it out.
Ugh.
But that's like a little fishing hook just in my cheek. I
Can
can't
you
even
imagine
imagine
it
one
down
being
your throat?
pulled,
Oh,
yeah, out of your throat.
ugh. You know, and it had a key in it, right, or something,
Yeah,
right?
because that was the key that got her out of the trap.
And it was cool because they had the what is it, the little X-ray sketch, so they
Yeah,
could see
which
where
he's
it
used
went.
before, like on the eye, and
Yeah.
he's used that, which then brings us back to Dr. Gordon, because Dr.
So
Gordon is the one who
this
sets all
is
this
this
up.
is whatever his name, Jigsaw. This is Jigsaw stuff, So I
I think
truly
all
believe
that
that.
is,
The racist people and the boyfriend, the boyfriend's girlfriend one was not.
I think
Those were
that's
Hoffman.
Hoffman. I
But
think so. Yeah.
those two did survive. Those two guys survived and the girl died. So they were,
They survived,
not
but none
all
of the racists did. Yeah.
none of the racists did.
And this
Yeah.
guy, Bobby, just sucks.
He
He
just,
just get,
well, I mean,
he,
come on. He's got what is he doesn't have much to work with. If he's helping the girl out and she is screaming and he keeps telling her shut the fuck up and she keeps screaming, I mean that's not I mean
well,
honestly
it's a
I would
no,
scream,
but doesn't that
like
make it more Hoffman than Jigsaw? Because there's no way that you could do that unless you, I mean, the only way that you would probably stop screaming
maybe
is
it's a
if,
mixture.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, he's setting, I think these traps are, obviously after
Right.
Jigsaw died.
Jigsaw's dead already.
Yeah, so
Um
he's just going, at least that's what I think. So he's just going off of what Jigsaw wanted. So maybe he's making
it
them
had
a
to be
little a
it
little more
had
unbeatable.
it had to be it's the same time that Hoffman is killing everybody at the police station.
Who uses a fucking machine gun?
I know, like that was brutal, man.
This guy is not subtle in any way possible. I mean,
He's coming in and like there's one dude, like one cop who's just like just chilling by himself. Now you think about it, he comes up right behind him and just goes right through his
that's his
neck.
favorite way of killing during that whole
Yeah,
entire scene, is always here, here. He's just,
yeah.
and he is not being subtle. And I love how did he got a whole machine gun put in, set up, put in the angle that the cops would be, and
And
then
then,
remotely was able to shoot all of them. I
mhm.
mean, it's like, and then he started blowing up cars and stuff also in the
I mean, it was
junkyard.
probably like the most like this probably costs. Well, we'll get to the cost and all that stuff later at the end, but I mean, probably cost the most because they have more action, more explosions, more deaths than what they've had. But once again, this goes to the fact that they knew that they thought that this was going to be the last one, so they might as well go all epic on the last one, right? That was
Yeah,
my
you might as well, because they already had Paranormal Activity out, and
right.
that kicked it out of the number one spot. So they're just like, okay, we're done. So we're just gonna make one more to wrap all this up, and that's what this is.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just, I mean, he just wipes out the. It's funny is the guys are the worst ones to get killed in that scene, like with the pit, with like the knives and stuff. The woman who's there, who's just kind of like decoding everything, she just gets like strangled. Like he takes his arm around her and just like suffocates her or something. She just dies that way. But she doesn't die really compared to the other guys. She doesn't get killed violently.
By the way, do you
She's
know who the IAB officer was? Like the guy there? That was Chad Donella, who's in the first Final Destination movie with Devon Sawa and stuff. He was Devon Sawa's best friend. So he is later on, he's the IAB agent that apparently was saved by a Hoffman, and then a Hoffman got rewarded and he didn't, or whatever. Even though Hoffman killed the guy or whatever, you
they
know.
should be the same characters.
I mean, I don't understand why Hoffman didn't like him. I mean, was it because he was
I think he's just
investigating him?
yeah, he's just wiping everybody out that can accuse him, but it's all kind of obvious.
And
I mean, it's
in fact, he was sort of giving that guy a chance to just, if you just give me Jill, I'm not gonna, like I'm not gonna whatever.
well, he didn't
He,
really like him because the guy turned him in. Remember that the guy said it was like excessive force.
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so he kind of screwed him over, and Hoffman goes, "You owe me." And then the guy, because he was, I guess, a rookie, turned him in, and so Hoffman always, held a grudge against that.
Well, I'm surprised he didn't put him in an actual trap. Like, I mean, he shot him and had him get killed, but
Yeah,
like he didn't put him in a trap. He didn't put him in a bear trap or any of the shit. But
no,
anyway,
yeah, he just gunned him down. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
I'm surprised. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess
Then
he didn't do that with any of the cops, he pretty much let the cops most of the cops just got just slit their throats slit and other shit,
yeah.
you know. The
Um,
ones that were protecting Jill.
and then the next one is the impalement wheel.
Trying to remember what that was.
So that's the one with the woman, she's on kind of like the bed and she's moving forward, and there's the three spikes
Oh yeah.
that are going to go into her two eyes and her mouth, and Bobby has to go lift like the weight, and as he's lifting the weight, that it impales him in the sides,
Right.
and he could only lift it for, and I think that was like 60 seconds or something. I think that was because it was a longer time that he had to hold it. But
Right.
I was thinking during that, and I know what they would have done is, why don't you grab something from the room that can hold it up? But then I guess probably writing wise, if he put something under it, it would be so heavy it would just crush it,
Yeah.
because you want the trap to continue going. But
I'm not sure.
but yeah, yeah, he couldn't hold it up, and eventually she got the two spikes in her eyes and her mouth, which I'm not really sure. So I guess the woman who had the fishing hook, because once again, the traps are supposed to kind of mimic their why they're there. So if it's just a hook in her throat, is that the maybe I forget who's who. Maybe she's the lawyer because she talks.
Mm.
And then the one who gets impaled in the eyes and throat would be, or the mouth, is the publicist, because she has to use her eyes and mouth.
I guess. Yeah,
But
that would make
but I
sense.
but I think by this point none of that matters anymore. I'm not really
Yeah, I don't think that
sure.
I don't think they match what um yeah, I don't think they would have matched the
Because
what the
like
person is. I think it's just because like well no, actually I guess it does because the chick that get the he was talking Billy was talking about when the chick with the stuff inside her esophagus that she was talking a lot, right? And stuff. She was loud and um she had to be silent, right? Because that was why she
okay.
was called the silent whatever. The other person she was a publicist too or something? Or I thought that
I
was the
think
publicist.
I think one is a lawyer and then one is a manager or a lawyer and then the other one is maybe a publicist or a lawyer. Um I'm looking at that wiki page. It's funny is that this is supposed to be at the Clear Dawn Psychiatric Hospital. They got some pretty messed up crap in this hospital to help their patients.
Do they really help
Uh,
their patients? That's the question.
no, I guess not. It
No.
doesn't attach to the highest point of the body in order to. I don't know. Maybe it would say.
Mm.
Yeah, it doesn't really. It doesn't say. So I'm forgetting who's who. I don't think that they directly say. I mean, the next one is the Hangman's Noose, which is Bobby's friend.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. That was
And
that was
that's where he has to
crazy.
walk. His eyes are covered and he's got the noose around his neck and he has to walk on the planks of wood. But okay, so I'm lost on how that relates to what's going on. But okay, so he has to, and that's another one is if this is all jigsaw, but maybe Hoffman is putting the traps together, why would you put pieces of wood that would break? Because the idea is that he has to walk on the plank from plank to plank to plank to get across. So you think that that would be enough that if he slipped, he would hang himself.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have the pieces of wood break, then that's like a second part of the trap
Mm.
that the wood would break. I mean, it's a good scene, but the wood should be thick enough to hold a person because the trap is if they fall off the wood, then they hang themselves.
Yeah.
Not if the piece of wood
I mean,
breaks.
honestly, it was probably my least favorite of the stuff. But it was cool to see like um uh Bobby, I think that was his name, the is Sean Patrick Flannery's character jumping to like the boards and everything to get to the key, and everything. And then he jumps and he gets the key and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna throw it to you, but just put your hands over next to your chest like that and everything." And of course, I was like, "He's not gonna catch it. Like,
No
there's
way.
just no
Not
way."
in 100 years. No,
Yeah,
no.
no. Like, what he should have
But
done is try to figure out how to jump back over there and get to that area and give it to him, you know?
well, if the so the timer runs out, he's brought up, and I think he's brought up and then brought down, and because then they hang him. So if you got the noose on, why not grab the rope
Right?
and try to pull yourself up a little bit, you know, type of thing? Why? I mean, it's there were a few times with Bobby where I'm just like, I don't know, man. I think you could have done something different, but you're in the moment. It's you're not thinking straight.
Mm-hmm.
And I do love that whenever somebody is yelling, like you said, he's like, shut the fuck up, shut up, listen to me, shut up, be quiet,
Yeah, he's not.
because they're just freaking out and panicking.
I know. Well, I mean, understandably panicking, but like, he's like, dude, just shut the fuck up. while I'm trying to explain to you what's going on. Because the dude can't see anything, right? So he's like yelling and saying all these things, and he's just like, dude, shut the fuck up. Let me explain, and then we'll figure this out. Because if you keep talking, I can't help you, through this.
Right.
So
I mean, eventually the guy does, but they run out, and yeah, I mean,
and he runs out of time
he
and he
gets
dies. Yeah.
hugged. He gets
Hung,
hugged,
hunged,
hanged,
hunged,
hunged, hungugged.
hung to dry, whatever. Hunged out
Now
to
the
dry.
now the next one I don't know about. It's the teeth, the numbers on the teeth, so
Oh yeah.
that he has to put in to open the door to get to his wife. So that's the wisdom teeth combination. How? I mean, I guess if it's Dr. Gordon, maybe, but he's not a dentist. If it's Hoffman, how would you just get like that black pen back there on his wisdom teeth?
I don't know. And how would he
And
like not wake up to that or something,
I
or
guess he's
whatever?
I guess he just had to be totally drugged. But
Like,
you'd have to use a thin permanent marker, and then he would have to get back there and pull them out. But
uh,
how would
I,
you successfully write?
but here's the thing. These movies are not made for us to analyze. These movies are just people watching them and going, "Oh my God, I can't believe they're gonna have to pull the teeth
Right.
out," and
Well,
shit like that.
it's because we need five more movies after this, so then they could go back to this one, and then we see Bobby unconscious. You see Hoffman and Dr. Gordon, and Hoffman's holding his mouth open with like a vice,
Yeah,
and Gordon's like, okay, keep that mouth open because I have to make it so he could see the numbers. And he's like in there with like his, he's got the little light on his head, and he's looking inside, writing the numbers out. But we're never going to get that. That's the coolest part about this series is when you're talking about part one going, my God, that was stupid. The guy was on the ground the whole time. That was stupid.
this is
And then two movies later, he's
well.
explaining the entire thing. And then it makes sense.
I'm really kind of mad. Like this does the whole Halloween thing of like switching the names and stuff like that. And but in this case, like because like there's Saul 3D or whatever, right? So it's not even Saul 7, not even mentioned Saul 7. Then there's Jigsaw, then there's Spiral, but then there's Saul 10. Wouldn't this be Saul 8? You know? Because Jigsaw is not considered, I mean, is not said as Saul 8,
Well, no,
Like,
technically it would be 1.5
well, I
because it
mean,
takes place between one and two. But I'm guessing because it's called Saw 10 is because people want to know because it's Jigsaw.
right. So they got
So
Saul
we
10,
want
now
the,
it's Saul XI coming up,
yeah, because
and
the
everything.
Roman numerals in these cases work better than the names.
Mm. Well, I mean, I just don't like that they went, they made this to be the final chapter. Then they go and make another movie and they fucking call it Jigsaw. Like, I'm sorry, call it Saul, you can call it Jigsaw, but call it Saul 8 Jigsaw, or whatever, like just keep with the fucking Roman numerals. Now, Spiral shouldn't even be technically Saul 9, because it's not Saul 9, or whatever. So I think that's maybe Saul 10 should have been called Saul 9, you
Well, I mean,
know.
it's the 10th movie.
It's the 10th of No, is it? I mean, is Spiral technically a
Yeah.
Saul movie? I
Yeah,
mean, I thought
because they talk about Jigsaw. Yeah, it's just a different group of people, but there's still Jigsaw is still part of it. There is a Jigsaw imitator in it, and they pull a Scream 6 in it
Saul Scream 6.
with a which I think I mentioned to you when we did talk about Scream 6 is there's in Scream 6 how there was the whole theater full of all the different props.
Right.
So in Spiral, Spiral?
And that's the Chris Rock one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It's either in Spiral or no, it is in Jigsaw. There is the museum of Jigsaw.
Okay.
So I don't know. That type of stuff doesn't bother me that much. It's okay. I mean, I get what they're doing. So he got the wisdom teeth.
Hmm.
Then there's the brazen bull, which is where that's the wife. So I guess the whole trap looks like a bull when it forms and comes together.
Yeah.
And she gets burnt to death because and this is a flaw because in the recording it says the hooks will hold him. They don't. He falls out of them. So somebody didn't do their math right. Somebody didn't find out his weight.
Once again, Hoffman. I think he didn't want the guy to get the girl out. He didn't want him to save. I thought I thought he was gonna save her. I thought what he was gonna do was he was going to get electrocuted enough, but he was gonna still go through it, and then go and save his wife, you know?
So what they should have had with this was a flashback to a party. And we see Bobby and the wife there. Like maybe they just got married. Like he's big, like he's known. And all of a sudden, Hoffman starts hitting on his wife. And Bobby's like, hey man, that's my wife. And she's like, I'm sorry, I'm married. Here's my ring. And Hoffman's like,
Well,
I
no,
can't have
because
you.
no, because I mean,
Because
really,
why does
this
she
was
die? She doesn't do anything. She's not a bad person.
because he doesn't care. He doesn't care about anybody. He is literally the worst villain because John got into all of this stuff because he cared about his wife and stuff. So you know that this wasn't planned by Jigsaw. This wasn't planned by John because John wouldn't want somebody's wife to die like that, even if they were pretending to be somebody that they're not or whatever. Like he wouldn't wait. No. No, yeah, no, because remember that one, I think it was in the last one, in the sixth one, where the you think that it's the guy's wife and it's somebody else's wife and kid, and then they decide to just kill the guy. Girl's
Yeah,
like, I
because the guy
can't do
died
it,
of
and then
cancer. Yeah.
yeah, and everything. So, but see, there's the difference. You know, the difference was these were people who were fucked over by somebody. Who was who was this guy fucking over? What, the world?
He
You
was
know?
making money off of John, and
So
John didn't like that. So he was making money off of being fake. But that's why I'm wondering, like, I'll say she's a lawyer. Did the lawyer know this is fake? The publicist, did the publicist know this is fake?
they did.
Okay. Okay.
And
So
the only reason
then,
I know that is because, or think that, is because they were in that, they were doing that little, like, was it interview or whatever? And the way they talked to him or whatever felt like they knew that he was full of shit and stuff. And like they were telling him, "Oh, you didn't get that big kiss. We need that big kiss. Right? We should have, whatever." Which I was like, "Who's kissing who? What? I don't know what you're
but
talking
then
about."
shouldn't the wife then be suspicious of things if this is
No,
all
because
all for the
she
TV?
she was so happy that he was there to like help, spread joy to others to let them know that there can be survivors out there.
So the only thing I could think of why she is there is she married him because he's famous.
No, I don't think that's true.
Yeah, because he calls her a trophy wife. She wouldn't be the trophy wife if she was there before any of this happened. She would just be a wife.
Right.
So she got involved with him probably once he became famous when the book
Right.
got out. And then at some point they got married. And then he's like, oh, okay, well, you married him because he's famous. And so now I'm going to put you in a fire trap.
So we forgot to mention earlier though, the Gordon was at that what it was like a meeting for survivors or whatever of Jigsaw, and they were doing like a video, like a TV show thing or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's the one
And
person that's on the
yeah,
TV.
yeah, and then Gordon starts clapping and he's like Dr. Gordon, and he's like, "Oh, that's just great. You guys are blah blah, yeah, right." And he starts like, and everybody starts clapping for him, right, and everything. And later on, the best friend of him is like, "Who was that guy? Should we be worried about him?" You know? And it was like, "Oh no, he's been here a couple times," which I guess he's been there a couple times, and he is a survivor of
But I
Jigsaw.
think he's there to watch Bobby.
Well, the thing was, I knew that he was coming at the end. When we see the pig guys or whatever, I knew one of them was Gordon. And I guessed it right before it happened. I was like, that's got to be Gordon. And he toss off his thing. I was like, yes, it's Gordon because
That's
we
why
don't see him the rest of the movie. He
I
just
wanted
disappeared.
Cult of Saw. I that's why I wanted the film to be a little bit longer, is I wanted this cult to be working with Gordon, and there's two fractions or factions, and there's the Gordon side, and then there's the Hoffman side.
Right.
And because Hoffman does get his revenge on Jill, after everybody's dead, all these cops are dead and detectives are dead. He does put the bear trap on her, the old school bear trap, and she does get her face ripped off. So he does get that. And so she can't be surprised by that because she did the same thing to him. He was just smart enough to put it through a window and have
Do,
the bars hit it.
do you know what? I just realized we've been talking for longer than this movie.
Well, okay, we'll wrap it up soon. So
Well, yeah.
I did write, so
Well,
I
no, no. I
did.
mean, but we're almost done with this stuff. So the girl dies, right? The woman dies from the incinerator thing,
Right.
the fire and everything. And I'm trying to remember what happened to Bobby after that. Did he
So
didn't
okay. So the next one is right after she gets burned, then there's the sentry gun trap, which is the machine gun that kills everybody.
right?
There's the cyanide box, which kills all of the SWAT members.
Does it kill them? I just thought it knocked them out or something. But
It's cyanide. They're dead.
okay. Um,
Um,
but it does say I
reverse.
warned you, you know, or whatever on the thing when they try to open it up. They try to open up the door. It said did you notice that on the door? It said like you've been warned, you
Oh
know?
yeah, yeah.
So they were warned not to go over there. Like, I would back up and leave while the cops are trying to find them or whatever. So they died from the cyanide. I didn't know that was cyanide. I just thought that was like, what is it? The gas that knocks you out or something.
Oh no,
So
that's way too nice. That's way too nice for Hoffman. Then
yeah,
there's the reverse bear trap. So Jill gets killed, and then Hoffman leaves. He gathers his stuff and leaves, and then that's when he gets attacked by the pig guys. One of them ends up being Dr. Gordon. Hoffman then wakes up inside the bathroom from the first movie, and he's chained up. Gordon comes in. They both see the hacksaw. Gordon grabs it, throws it out in 3D fashion, and then Hoffman kind of does like what the fuck are you doing? And then Gordon says game over, closes the door. Hoffman screaming, and then that's when it goes to the credits.
right.
And so, but I was curious. So Bobby's book is called Survive, but it's like S dot,
You
so what it stands for is S, start your life anew. U, understand your problems. R, redefine your priorities. V, verify your self-worth through commitment. I, ignore your detractors. V, value your loved ones. And E, embrace every day as if it was your last.
all right. Um, that sounds way too much like the dentist system. You ever watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I watched like the first season or two.
The dentist system is DENNIS, like that. And it stands for D, demonstrate value, right? E, engage physically. N, nurturing dependence. N, neglect emotionally. I, inspire hope. And then S, separate entirely. So it's like the most messed up way to treat a person, period. Like get them all into you and then disappear for a little bit. They come back into their life and you're supposed to inspire hope and then you're like, I'm out again. And then it's like,
uh,
so yeah. So anyway, that's what it reminded me of, the Dennis,
that's funny.
system. Um, but I think those were made about the same time because I think that was the fifth season or something like that of it. So
Yeah,
that
this was what year was this? This was
2010, right?
2010, yeah.
Yeah, Dennis System came out in 2009.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they were fans of, and they're like, oh, that's cute. Let me make Survive, and then Survive sounds very much like, whatever. And I guess they're both sort of those uh acronym systems that are supposed to, inspire or help or whatever, kind of make at least in Dennis System they're making fun of it. In this way they're actually going with it, or whatever. But it doesn't matter because you reading that, nobody ever knows, like, unless you looked it up and found out what it meant. There's no, you know, you see what I'm saying? Like, it
Well,
doesn't
yeah,
explain in the movie.
that's why I wanted to look it up. So, because I was, just curious of what that meant because they never mentioned it in the movie. But so we can wrap this up soon. So for Saw 3D, the budget on it was one of the higher ones. It was 17 million.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this felt like it had the most budget because they did the explosions, they did, lots of deaths in this movie. Especially, I mean, that scene with him going in the police station and just murdering everybody, like, viciously, was pretty brutal, you know.
Yeah, and it made 136.2 million.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So, yeah, and it's compared to, let's see. Um, so Saw 3D, okay, so worldwide 136.
Oh,
Then, but part six did 68 million. So this
right.
made more money. And then Jigsaw made, I'm not going to say what the number is until we do Jigsaw, but it made less
Made
than
less
3D.
money.
Yeah.
So did it make more money than Saw 6?
Uh, Jigsaw?
No, Saw 3D.
Yeah. Saw 6 made 68 million.
Wait, Saw 6 made 68 million? That's it? Oof,
Yeah.
that's rough. I mean, not getting 100 million is rough when you're making these movies, you know? Like, wow. All right,
Yeah.
well,
Each one did the 100 all the way up to part six.
and then 6 did
And I, and
not.
I, and that's when Paranormal Activity 1 came out, knocked it into second place. So they're like, oh, we need to, all right, let's finish this off. Let's make one more. Okay, we're going to call it 3D. We're going to call it the final chapter. And so then that makes the 136. But it
Hmm.
does have up to that point. Yeah, its budget is the highest.
Right,
And then it fluctuates from there on out.
for
So,
sure. Well, there you go. Like I
yeah.
said, I liked it a lot. I like the action. I like the explosions. I like a lot of the stuff that you don't really normally see in these movies. That I liked that Hoffman. I mean, this is another Hoffman story, or whatever, and the fact that he was going after Jill and he kills Jill, he explodes her fucking head, you know. So he got to kill Jill, which, I mean, if she can come back, it'll be a flashback, you know, or whatever.
Well, and the stuff with Jill that I like with that is like if you remember in one of the other movies, Amanda is talking to Jill,
Right.
saying, that that John saved her life, and it was basically with that bear trap, that reverse bear trap.
Yeah.
So she is being killed by the thing that John created that saved Amanda. So his own creation killed his wife or ex-wife.
There you go.
So be careful what you make.
Hmm. That's a good explanation of it. I don't know. It was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. Um,
Yeah, I'm
I,
curious if after reading your little post there, I'm curious of what you think of the other ones now that we're out of the regular films. Now we're back
I
every few years, 5 years or whatever it is, to bring a
yeah, I
movie
just
out.
don't. I don't know. It's just still. I don't think. No, I don't think there's ever gonna change my mind as to
This,
like this is like my favorite franchise or something like that. I just
oh no, it definitely won't.
and
So
I
it's
don't think like I don't honestly. This isn't something unless I ended up dating a girl that was obsessed with Saul and wants to watch it all the time, you know, I don't see myself wanting to just go watch this, still.
so if we weren't reviewing these, would you have watched the whole thing? Would you have watched one or two and just said, nah, not for me? Would you? I mean,
I probably would have stopped at two because I think I tried to once and I got bored. And I don't after a while it's like okay these people are stuck in this place or trapped in this place or they've got traps on them and they gotta figure out how to get and I'm like I feel like if you've seen one you've seen them all and yeah I mean there's explanations as to what's going on and some of it's political like or some of it's whatever but sorry, John. I know. But you
we
can
are
probably, I mean,
done here.
a lot of people probably say that about slashers, like if you've seen one, you've seen them all.
Well, you
Um,
pretty much have. I mean,
right,
it's not like every Halloween is different. Every Nightmare on Elm
right.
Street is different. I mean, they're all the
But I
same
think,
movie.
but what I think I like about them is I like the characters. Most of these characters are unlikable because that's why they're in the traps to begin with and stuff. And are you supposed to feel sorry for them? Yes, you're supposed to feel sorry for the publicist who I don't think, even if they knew that the person was doing this stuff, did that really make them horrible for doing that? No they're doing their job. It's the same thing as like us talking about the poor people that were shot. They were just doing their job. Now they
They were
cannot
just,
just
yes, they were just doing their job. But what if, now just what if you were Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant for 4 years, and there's a very good chance that you knew exactly what was going on?
because there's no way you didn't, you know.
How does that person, and I'm not saying that person is real,
Yeah, because who knows if there's an assistant out there, that it's not like that assistant's out there making movies or TV shows or
TV shows,
anything.
I'm sorry, does that person deserve to go into a trap because that person
No,
knew that their employer was doing horrible things?
no, I know.
So
Nobody
Harvey
deserves to
could go
be.
into a trap, which now
He
he's in.
should go. He
He's
should
in
go to
prison
jail. Should go to jail.
and hopefully
I
bottom
truly
raped.
believe. And that might be another reason why I don't like this series, because I truly believe that if you are a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad person, like Harvey fucking Weinstein was, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna get in trouble in this industry for saying he was a horrible person. You know, um. Do I think that he deserves to go in a trap? No. I think he deserves to go to fucking jail. Do I think Bill Cosby deserves to go to a trap? No. I think he deserves to go to jail for the stuff that he did. Like, that is why we have justice. This is why we have jails. So
But
that
but then
we,
but then you can have with like Bill Cosby, he can go into a trap, And then it's the decision of the women that he harmed to remove him from the trap.
And they should remove him from that trap.
I would say no.
I say so because I mean, even because he doesn't.
Because remember, Harvey Weinstein, what he did was horrible to women, but he also just didn't affect women. He destroyed other careers. If you didn't sleep with him, he destroyed your career. If you were even a man and you didn't do what he wanted you to do, he destroyed your career. He was one of those guys where if you didn't follow what he did, so he
He's
did the
the exact
worst to
the
women,
you know
but
where
he
they
but it affected everybody.
where they always say like you'll never work in this town again. Like he was literally that person who would
He
say
was
that,
that guy.
you know.
Yeah.
But like he doesn't deserve to die in a trap like
Oh,
that
I think he does.
necessarily.
Sure.
I don't think so. Like because because
You
if
got
we
to
start
remember, I already have my list of 5 people if the purge ever happens.
but
So it's already
I
it's all
I
they're all those
know.
names are written down. So I'm that type of guy.
Uh, But I still don't think those kind of people because like then what if somebody had a list of things that you did to them that they want to put you in a trap for? Do you think you deserved it?
I guess it depends on what it is. If
Ugh.
I hit you in my car and somebody's kid died and I ran, then yeah, probably. But maybe if I accidentally gave you back wrong change, no.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know because I don't think anybody deserves to die that way. I think people deserve to go to jail and be there for eternity. Now, I think, well, I don't know if it was any of the Saw movies or something, but the idea that it was the Saw movies, it was Saw 3 or whatever, where the guy with the kid or whatever,
Mhm.
where the guy got the judge let him, go or whatever. Well, still, it's justice. Like he went to he did, the guy ran over the guy's son. That is fucking terrible, or whatever, right? And then the person saw it. I don't think because they didn't do anything that they deserve to be fucking killed, I just think that they deserve something.
I I would probably say that a person who witnessed it and ran is panicking.
Right.
So yeah, probably not in that, but if it's a judge who's letting a guy off with manslaughter and only going to like jail for 6 months, then you got to wonder, okay, well, how many other people has he done this to? Is this guy corrupt? Is he being paid off? What's going on? But if it's something that's, if I hit somebody's kid, okay, like in my apartment complex, there's kids running around here all the time.
Uh-huh.
And I gotta look when I reverse out. I got to
Mhm.
really pay attention. If I accidentally hit one of these kids and killed him, it would be by accident. Do I deserve to be put into a trap? No, because it was an accident. Now, if I did it on purpose, oh fuck
You
that
were
little
mad at
kid.
one of the kids, yeah.
Yeah, then yeah. And I don't think the guy who hit the kid in Saw 3,
Because they were
the black
drunk,
guy
weren't
that
they?
was in like the thing that twisted his arms.
Yeah, but he was drunk, right? When he did it.
I think, yeah, that there was some reason why he hit the kid where it wasn't just an accident. Because they have
I mean,
they
it
have to put
wasn't
that
an
in
that
there.
it might not have been like a total accident like you said, like he wasn't backing up and then oops, I hit the kid. Um, I have a friend who unfortunately he got hit by a car when he was 2 years old. He was just he was walking and the drunk driver hit him, you know, and stuff and everything. And he has a hand like this, like his hand for all of life is, up like this. John, pay attention. Like his hand is like that
I'm sorry,
for
my
all of,
cat was eating something.
yeah, it was all his life is like that, and he's lived like that, whatever, right? He survived, whatever, but the guy ran off. drove off. It was a hit and run, right?
So he should be in a trap.
Well, my friend might think so. My friend might think so.
Yeah.
And if my
Let's
friend had the chance to like let him live or die, I think he'd actually let him live. Um, he would
oh I
because he's a very big Christian, so he probably
Okay,
wouldn't.
so then okay, it's funny because I was just about to say that. So I'm more Old Testament while you're more New Testament.
Right, and
But
it's a lot
so
more
I'm more of an
forgiving,
eye for an eye,
but he did tell me like he was so mad when that guy like got out of jail because he thought the guy deserved to be in jail for like his whole life for
Well,
doing
when it
that.
was if he was two, when did the guy get out of jail?
I forgot when.
I mean, he can't really be mad if he's five. He's five. He probably has no idea.
no, 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 he knew when the guy got out or whatever. I just don't know what year. Like if it were like he only had like 30 years, 40 years, something like that. I don't remember. But the guy got free, and is out or whatever. And he I think he kind of felt like the guy deserved to stay in jail for the rest of his life for doing something like that to
Okay, so
somebody.
but the guy in Saw 3, the guy was intoxicated and killed the kid and only got like 6 months.
Right. And I mean, that was a really fucked up decision. I don't think he deserves to die for for that.
But he's in a test. So
I
he can go free. The guy, they just have to do the test
right.
and get him out
Yeah. Um, and
or the trap.
it wasn't Hoffman who set that up because John was still alive at that time and probably told Amanda what to do or whatever, you know. Because that was the third one. That
I
was the
think we
one
even
where,
see, yeah, I think we see like a part four or something, even like a flashback to that. And
yeah.
they're setting the whole trap up.
Yeah, so I don't know. I honestly, do I think people deserve to die over, like especially if they're drunk? I've been drunk, I've blacked out and done stupid shit that I probably wouldn't be happy with. Do I think that because I did this stupid shit whenever I deserve, I never killed anyone that I'm pretty sure I've never killed anybody.
Well, I
I
mean,
mean, when you're blacked out, you can't say anything because you don't know what you did. You
I've
know.
been in two head-on collisions that destroyed both vehicles. One of them, a guy hit me, and the second one, I hit somebody. But the guy who hit me, it was because he was texting. Mine was because my car slid in the rain on oil.
Right,
So the cop even said it was an accident, but it still injured people.
right.
Do both of us, a guy who's texting, who is basically, which is they've said is the equivalent of being drunk, deserve to be in a trap, or do I deserve to be in a trap when the cop said it was an accident?
No, I don't think either of you do.
Two cars were destroyed, two, lives were affected,
But
bones were
nobody died.
broken,
Nobody
nobody
died.
died.
And you know,
And I don't think that the guy who hit me should be put into a trap.
no,
I
and I think that guy, if anything, should be taught not to text and drive,
we
or
probably
whatever.
just they should just take his license away. Just take him
Yeah,
to
they
the
should take his
bus, dude.
license away and not let him do that. But I see that's the thing. Like, there's so many things. I mean, if somebody had died in that course, like not you, but say somebody else, that was next to you died, like, I'm not gonna say who or whatever because not my place. But a friend of mine's who used to live near me, and stuff. Um that person's sister died coming back from a Grateful Dead concert. Kind of ironic. It was Grateful Dead and she died. But it was a uh unfortunately it was because they had been drinking and smoking, I believe smoking weed, and they crashed, you know? Um, if one of them had survived and was the driver and the two people that died, would they deserve to be in a trap?
The drunk driver would.
I just don't think so. I think they deserve to go to prison. I believe that they don't deserve a license. I don't just I don't I man, I'm weird about this shit because like I don't believe in the death penalty.
I do.
I completely against it. I just I think like I mean I don't think they deserve I think they don't deserve to come like get out of prison. I think prison is already enough of a death sentence, you know?
If somebody kills somebody, then they should probably get the death sentence. Now, it matters if it was by accident or not. If it was, you know, it matters. There's that involuntary manslaughter and then voluntary manslaughter.
I
But it's if you're, freaking Ted Bundy, I think that you probably deserve the death sentence, which he
I'm
got.
sorry I can't yeah, I can't back that. I completely disagree. But it's
He
just my
he
opinion.
escaped twice and murdered more people.
I mean,
So they gave him the death sentence and then he never killed again because he was put on, if he was still in jail, he probably would have escaped more.
you can't be on solitary confinement for the rest of your life. I
They
mean,
he escaped. He escaped from
Gabe
like
Collins
court.
so,
He went through vents and things and got out and murdered more people. So how do you get rid of him if he keeps escaping and murdering more people? You put him down. I would
yeah,
prefer just to put a bullet in his head. That way you just save the taxpayers a lot of money.
that's true. I mean,
And he's murdered a bunch of people. It's not like it's
why do we need like these like electric chairs and shit, you know?
because it's
Just
supposed to be the humane way to die when I think you should just put I
that it's
mean,
less humane. It's like it's worse, I believe, to kill them that way because
well, if it's
like
set
you
up
said, if you
wrong,
shoot them in the head, they don't feel the pain like
unless
you
you
know
shoot them wrong.
if
I
you shoot
mean,
them wrong, yeah, uh, or whatever. But
but I mean,
then,
technically, yeah. I mean, if you shoot the person in the head, I mean, why let Charles Manson live until he died? Why not? I mean, people tried setting him on fire and all this shit. I mean, why just put him down? He's no good to anybody. He's just a waste of taxpayers' money.
my
Dahmer died because some guy beat the shit out of him in the bathroom.
my sociology teacher, not professor. God, I feel like I was in college. No, I was in high school. Sociology teacher actually communicated with Manson through like a pen pal kind of thing, you know.
Oh,
And you
geez.
got all of these. Manson has nothing but time and sent him a huge letter, with all of this stuff talking about how he wanted to squash the bug that put him in there, Bugliosi, and all this other shit. And it sounded deranged and crazy and fucking madman style, but it was an awesome thing. He let us all have like copies of it, to see the letter that Manson wrote.
Well, see, that's kind of jigsaw like,
Right.
except that nobody faked it. So you have Manson who wants to kill the author of the book, Helter Skelter, that basically got him there, one of the reasons. So then he could have one of his little minions go out and
Well,
set up a
yeah.
trap and put him in it, put
How many
Bugliosi in it.
people did anybody ever visit him, while he was in prison and come and talk to him? Like, imagine he was still running a cult, like inside prison,
He
and
I
stuff.
believe he was still running a cult. I mean, people made up cults for him.
Yeah,
I don't know how much he was actually running. I mean, he probably, but there are the Manson cults. They're probably still out there today.
that's nuts and
I mean,
scary.
remember, I mean, even Ted Bundy got married while he was in prison.
That's insane to think, like that somebody actually thinks. I mean, um, was it Bundy you said got married?
Yeah, Ted Bundy.
Dahmer was the good looking one. Oh, I think Bundy was kind of good looking, right? Like,
Oh, Bundy was very good looking. He
yeah,
was a like a tennis instructor to rich women.
yeah.
So
So
he
women
got like
loved
the
him.
cougars. Yeah, he
Yeah,
was very. That's how he got a lot of these women. Is that he is very good looking and charming. Dahmer was hitting the gay bars. So he
yeah.
was, gay guys liked him. He was, that's who he was attracted to.
Um, what was there was an actual short film. I never got to watch it, but I heard about it. But there was a short film about this girl who actually met I think it was Bundy. And she met Bundy at a laundromat, right? and they started talking. Everything was good. And then Bundy asked if he could come to her house, right? She didn't know who he was, right? She didn't know he was a serial killer. And at that time, he hadn't been caught yet or whatever. And so she invited him to her house. And then she was like, at the end of it, she was like, at the end of the night, she was like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed. Have a good night. Like, basically go home, right? And he was like, do you mind if I just like, I'm really tired. Do you mind if I just like crash out here? And she's like, okay, but I'm gonna lock up my door here and like whatever. So he was like literally like outside her door and everything the next morning and everything. And he didn't wake up, whatever. She left to go to work. He had gone at some point, came back, to her house, you know, and she kept the door locked. She like was like, this guy's just weird. I don't want him like anywhere near me. And then later, like called the cops, right? So he left before once the cops got called, he left. He like skedaddled. Then later she found out who he was, when he got arrested. And she was like, "Oh my God, I'm like this close." She wrote a whole movie about it, like a short film. It was like my day with um Bundy or something like that. Like it was like,
That would be interesting to watch. Tiffany Shepis plays a one of the his victims that survived. That
yeah.
and she's at the beginning of the movie. And he had a technically he had a family. He actually was seeing a woman with a kid, and he
Wow.
treated them very well. He didn't do anything. He was like this, like kind of like great, like kind of surrogate dad to
Oh,
the kid. And then he'd be like, "Oh yeah, I gotta go to business." And then he'd murder a bunch of people and then come back. And he'd spend Christmas and Halloween, and he had this family
well,
that
I
was
mean,
there.
that's yeah, that's how a lot of those serial killers, like, like John, you could be a serial killer for all I know. And like us like hanging out, and then you're like, John, it's time to wrap up. I gotta go. I've got a meeting, and your meeting is you're gonna go murder
Would
somebody.
you mind
Like
putting
you
this
might
reverse bear trap on your head? Don't
um,
worry.
don't worry, I don't like it'll
I'm
be
just setting the
okay.
timer and it will and it will just take itself off. Don't worry about it. It will unlock. Don't
That's
sweat
the
it.
timer, is take itself off and it goes
Yeah. I'm just setting the timer because I got something in the oven
in
in
the
there. So
oven. I want to know when I'm done cooking.
when
All
you're done,
right.
I mean when it's done cooking.
Yeah.
All right, man. So should we wrap this up?
Yeah,
This is a long
so
one.
this was a
For a film
long
that's only
one.
90 minutes, this is a long one.
Yeah, we I think we talked almost double the movie. It
Oh,
feels like.
and it finishes this. We're now done with my copy of this. So
We are not done with my copy of it because
so
I've got all the way to Jigsaw on mine. But I do have your other one too, so I have that one as well. I'm glad I have the one that has Jigsaw two, and then I've got Spiral on 4K. It's my only Saw movie on 4K, and I think I told you that I bought it like Black Friday sale for like $10, and I was like at Best
it'll look
Buy
good.
back when Best Buy sold movies. They don't even do that anymore. You know, um, damn Best Buy. Though somebody told me they heard that they might be selling movies for Black Friday.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so they might just bring it back, then sell what they have, and then just put them, send back what they don't, I guess, what they don't make. That would be great because that's all I went to on Black Friday was Best Buy. I hate going to Target or Walmart because they're fucking insane. All right. So we're about done. Thank you guys so much for checking this out.
Thank you.
Join us in another, hopefully, I think another 2 weeks. We haven't done it yet. But hopefully another 2 weeks we'll be done with the next Saw. Jigsaw is next. Until then, have a good one, everybody. Bye.
Bye.